Wow. I remember watching. I think it was probably yesterday. I was on Facebook and I saw a woman, and she had like so many like arrows that was in her back, and I think at the bottom it read, "This is why I distrust the African American male," or something to that effect. Because they've been stabbed that many times. When you see that in those African American women, with raising African American men with that anger, and let's just say you have a man who tries to speak with a woman, and she's the one who has that attitude. I think from a perspective of men, some men may say they have just as many arrows in their back. How do you diffuse that situation to where people can come together and say, okay, let me listen to what it is you're saying, and let me listen what you're saying, and how can we bring a solution to this?
Very good question. I think the basic is when adults, because everyone can't come to a round table. Everyone doesn't have like minds. But those who care, they can. Because they're not looking to injure the other one just because something caused them to feel uncomfortable. They're looking for solutions. And they come with the heart of, let me hear how you feel. Maybe I've been a little off about some things. They come with the open ear to hear, So I think that it's no easy or no quick solution to it, but I do think that it has to happen. I think that it has to be marketed. And I think that it has to become the new trend of things. And that's that we stand together no matter what. And not saying that we're going to uphold each other in wrongness, but if you're an African American person, you were born in America, a lot of people are suffering from not having a root and not knowing what culture to follow. Like me, I'm labeled African American woman. I'm told I want to be like European women or women from all other races because I wear weave in my hair. Well, how about I got German in me, I have Irish in me, I have Indian in me, and I know where they came from. The only part of who I am that I don't have a root to is my African American side of me. So who's to tell me which side of me I should embrace and which side I should discount? I think that's backwards, and I'm very bold about that because all of those things made me who I am. And I'm not a fraction of a person. I'm not the 1/3 of a person. I'm a whole person. And when I look at myself as a whole, then I can tap into understand why people are having an identity crisis. Not only are you told that don't embrace your other sides of you, but then I'm not going to give you a side to embrace. The only thing that we're going to give you is slavery. And then when you get to slavery, there's nothing. There's no root to it. It stops there. All files and documentations for the most part have been lost. So I think we have to recreate that. I think that really strong and really passionate and called. You have to be ordained to live a certain type of lifestyle because everyone's not built for it. But I do think that somebody has to be built for it. We cry for a savior. Hey, it's you. It's us. So if you are waiting for someone to rescue you and that person hasn't come at this point in time, what do? Either you sink, either you'll begin to accept what the world has already set up to be your end or your patterns of life. It's even funny how our society has even allowed black men and women to go to school and get to a certain place in status. But it's kind of, disheartening because when they get to a certain place, they still want you to know you still can't get here. And the reason why that is because we're not on the same page. If there's ever going to be a such thing as retrieving our 40 acres and a mule, we got to come as a force and we got to come as a team. And not only that, but if something ever happens to us as fallen soldiers, our kids got to be able to come and pick it up and keep it going. Until we get that kind of momentum, organization going, a community of people relentless about that, You know, we don't necessarily have to walk around with pistols and guns and, you know, and show our muscle, but we can use our intelligence. We can use our creativity, and we can protect each other because you know somebody that I don't know. Somebody else knows somebody that you don't know. Networking technology, it works, and it can help keep us safe. So those are some of the things that I would talk about. If my brother came to me and had, you know, whatever the case may be, whatever the gripe is, I can tell you a gripe that my ex-husband had in our marriage. His gripe was that I put other people before our relationship. And this is a very common gripe that I hear a lot of men have. And if you are a woman listening to this that's more like me, now true enough, there's a lot of, it's easy to get off focus, it's easy to put other people, you got your family, you got your friends, it's things that you want to do, the whole 9 yards, the kids, the whole 9 yards. But in really deeply thinking about, you know, that statement, and I've talked to him since, you know, I think it was more of a misunderstanding. I was a stay-home mom. I've always worked for myself. I've always, you know, been the type of person who get out, communicate, mingle, you know, make things happen. I felt like I was being suppressed into a certain place. And what made me feel that way is because this person who is used to a very busy schedule is now having to stay put, is now having to, you know, it was basically everything about him. Not necessarily about the children either, in my opinion, a lot of times. It was more so about me. At the same time, when other people came into my experience, because I'm from a whole nother place, and I was feeling very lonely and homesick, and I didn't have a lot of friends in Texas. So my husband and his family was like my new family, and they weren't much of a family. So it was me and my children. So at some point in time, I would at least every now and then, and I do really mean every now and then, maybe once a month, once every 2 months, I would go out and, you know, just spend time away. I didn't, as I said before, I didn't have a whole lot of places to go, because by this time, being married to this guy, all of my friends kind of disappeared, okay? So he kept that as a rolling thought in his head, and I didn't really feel like it was valid. I more so felt like there was something being utilized to keep me put. So when I hear sisters say that to me, and we joke about it, we all sisters joke about it. You know, yeah, I wanted to go hang out, yeah, but he, you know how that, and we all say, yeah, we know how that goes. Why do you want to suppress your woman? What is it that you need to keep her in such a place that's going to make you feel more stable about being a man? How about we talk and communicate? If your lady go to the grocery store, go hang out with her friends, that should not destroy your relationship. Now there are some of my friends whose families that I know are very heavily involved in their relationship. A lot of times I'm finding it's because there is such an imbalance in the communication within the relationship. So we do have to have these conversations, because it seems to me there is the barrier. There's, you know, our black men think one way, black women think another way. Both people get hurt, and then there's still a lack of understanding as to why.
And what do you think about these individuals who say, I mean, the way the world is going right now, and the way the African American men are, they're not going to change, so why should I care anymore?
What I think about those people, I don't. You gotta want it. You have to want it. I used to be the savior. I've relinquished all rights to save anyone who does not want better for themselves. It does not work. It was very draining, it was overwhelming, and it caused a lot of heartache and pain.
So what if most of society is that way?
They are.
So how do you reach the few that are not, and collectively have them to come together to create a dynamic force?
I focus on the few. Because if you focus on the few, instead of casting your pearls before to swine, if you give back to those people who are awakened, and you are on the same mastermind level frequency of purpose in life, and you give back to them, they're going to give back to you. Other people are going to want to gravitate in that direction. Maybe they felt that way today. Who says they have to feel that way tomorrow? You know, people change throughout the day. They have epiphanies, the whole 9 yards. Our job is not to try to cause them to change. Our job is for those who's crying out, who want better, who actually is thriving for better, and who is saying, where are the leaders? That's what I was screaming. You know, where's the leaders? Where are the people who's supposed to walk this particular walk that I've been taught? You know, where are they? We want to be present. And those people will come and join along, and other people will catch on later. That's the best way I can explain that.
So what do you think about African American men?
I love them. That's why I'm single, as a matter of fact. A part of me is still healing, and I'm okay with it. And I do have guy friends, but my focus isn't necessarily solely on a relationship unless it just makes sense, if that makes sense to you. Unless it just, God put this thing together in such a magnificent way, I can't ignore it. So far, it's really easy to ignore inconsistency, a whole lot of soul dreams, a whole lot of just irresponsible behavior. You know, there's a lot of conscious brothers out here. They know the right things to say. They've read books, but their behavior doesn't line up with the things that they know they should be doing. Do I trip sometimes and get off my square? Of course. I'm a transparent person. In order for you to know any of these things are true, you got to know I done messed up. But what I do know that works is being real to myself. Is being real to my purpose and my cause. And even before I could teach my children a lesson, the lesson has to already be generated inside of me. Except with 7 children, if they felt that way about the world, I can't make them feel different if they refuse to feel different. So I love my African American men. I wish that they loved themselves more. And I wish that they would be more stand-up-ish. You know, we want to be proud. We want to be like, yes, there you go. We don't just want to look at a TV screen and watch a football player or a preacher or, you know, someone in an illusionary TV screen to be how we look at you guys when I walk past you on the street. Because a lot of that's not happening. You know, there's this big disconnection from the image of how black men would like to see themselves as the king of the jungle, the mandingo, and what they really look like, which is kind of sad collectively.
Hey, watch it, I'm a man.
I said sad collectively. Okay? It is.
So you think about, when you think of, I like what you said when you spoke about the women and how they want to look at men other than the athletes. What women are those and where are they?
I talk to them every day. And that's what I'm saying. There is this big disconnection from what is happening. And like I talk to these women all the time.